from Los Angeles. This is Montserrat Radio. You're listening to Montserrat Radio.
In the spirit of the war against fake news, Montserrat Radio presents The Fake News Show, conspiracy news and a different point of view of current events. And now your hosts, Benny Wilson and Thomas Christian.
Hello, and welcome to the Fake News Show. This is your host, Benny. Tonight we have a very instructive, very interesting show, and I took the time to actually work on it because I want to give you some tips on what to do when you become rich. There are very few tips. I'm not going to go through everything because you will get the idea. For me, as an ex-banker, private information is basically everything. Without private information, without keeping yourself private, you're exposed to a lot of problems. So before I go with the tips, I want you to please get a pen and a paper or a note in your computer because I'm going to give you tips that have worked for me. Okay? And I will tell you why those tips has worked for me. I will not recommend you anything that I haven't tested myself. Never. So let's go for the news first and we can continue with this countdown because the show is called The Countdown Continues. And yes, it is a countdown, everybody. A countdown that we are very close for Liberation Mosul. Now, many of you many of you has confused the countdown for Mosul as the countdown for DRB. Nope. This is not about the countdown for DRB. This is the countdown for the liberation of Mosul. Because right after the deliver Mosul, there will be another conditions. And we'll probably be close to DRB. But for now, I want you to concentrate in one thing at a time, because we need to be sure, according to the news, that you follow my instructions, because like I said many months, for many times, we need to pray, and I will show you why, okay? So, in the news, a body, as you know, yesterday, it was a great day, because actually not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, a body demand to expedite the liberation of Mosul, meaning he wanted to get it down now. Why? Well, very simple. He's on pressure because the three biggest powers of the world are asking him to hurry up. Donald Trump is going to meet him in Saudi Arabia, along with the rest of the most richest leaders in the world. We don't know exactly what we're going to talk about. What they're going to talk about. We figure that they're going to probably talk about the devaluation of the dollar, which, by the way, wait until I finish with all the news, because I got to tell you something that you don't know about, you're probably not aware of, okay? So we got a body telling us to expedite Mosul, and all of a sudden, when he said that, the day after that, he announced that Iraq, it is open for international investments. In other words, he's actually introducing Iraq again to the international market. But there's still no RB, like I said, and we're still waiting. I'm telling you, Iraq doesn't need to revalue their currency, but we know that their own pressure, and they probably will have to do it because they own a lot of money. And the people who are demanding this wants to get paid with the new value. Today, also, the show of today, talk about the countdown, because we continue with the countdown. Plus, we are going to talk about the real value. And this is something that you guys are going to continue listening to. And I want you to understand how valuable it is, this information. I want you to understand this, because right after I finish explaining to you what is the real value, you will understand why I keep asking people to look on the other side and open your expectations, because your reality is about to change. And if you want to change your reality, you don't need to wait for the RB. You can change it right now. I'm glad that many of my followers and many of my friends in Facebook are following me. And are following me in many endeavors that I'm doing, and in business that I'm doing it. Because little by little, they will know what I'm talking about. They will learn the value of what they're doing. And they probably will change their own life. I got good information for you guys, I'm telling you. For those people who are not on my Facebook page, you will understand also. And by the way, I almost forgot. Before I continue with the show, I want to tell you something. Yesterday and last night, I actually reported that I was overwhelmed with so many emails. And I thought to myself, what's going on? Why so many emails? And the reason was because yesterday, when I mentioned that my mother was curing herself from dementia and Alzheimer, that name that I just forgot to mention it, a lot of people wrote me with long lists of people that they need help. And I mean, and I'm not joking about it, and I'm telling you the truth. I got over 1,000 emails. Over 1,000 emails. I was like, I can't do that. I can't deal with this. It will take too much time out of me. So I called my friend, which is a teacher in a nearby school, and I asked her if I could have a student to help me out with my emails. And she was so nice to me, and she sent one of the toughest students, and I pay her for her time. She's doing a great job. So for those people who wrote me a letters requesting for the information for the cure of dementia and Alzheimer, please wait. My staff is waiting, and I'm telling you staff because I did not only hire one guy. I hired a girl and a guy, and they are working on delivering you guys the information because I cannot do it on my own. It's too much. I got between doing this show and my own business, it is too much for me. But I want to thank you for responding to my email, to my show. I really want to thank you so much. I also want to thank everybody who has been sending me this beautiful. They continue giving me these beautiful emails. Thank you so much for that. Let's go and continue with the show. So also we have a very interesting news. Our friend Lara Croft from Facebook, she posted, and she said that the news caught my attention a lot because I had to read the whole article. And the article says that the IMF proposed a capital levy in Europe. If you remember, for those people who had me in Facebook, I told you that the number one reason why the economy created by the banksters and the banks are being affected because of one thing only. And that thing only, it is uncentralized. It is not governed by any government. I'm talking about cryptocurrencies. I told you that. I told you 2 days ago before this news came out. And now the IMF is trying to implement a tax for everybody in Europe because, as you know, I also reported that banks in Italy, Spain, and I believe some other country which I just escaped out of my mind, they threat to go broke. And they're supposed to go broke today and nothing happened. So why they're going broke? Because millions, and I'm not joking about this, millions of people are beginning to discover the great potential and the great benefits of investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Notice that I just not say only Bitcoin, but they're also putting their money on investment of cryptocurrency. Why? Because there is no bank in the world that will pay you more return on investment than cryptocurrencies. There is nothing that can pay you that. Even the 707 accounts that I've been telling you guys for a long time, that is the one and only account that banks offer to millionaires. They don't give you that much return on investment. The most they can give you is 35%. With Bitcoin, you get up to 1,000% return. Let me give you an example. When I do my investment, although I have the money to actually put Bitcoins in every single platform that I can find just to test it, I'm not stupid enough to invest over $1,800 on one platform that I don't know is going to work for me. So what I do, I just started with a little one. And this is the investment that I started with a company called 6% Daily. And one of my friends in Facebook introduced me to that company. And it took me a while to understand exactly what it was about. So I invested $100. And what happened now? It's been 4 days since I invested $100. Now I got $576. And that is only the gain, the profits. It is insane how many people are making a lot of money in that website. I'm going to tell you later on why you need to get involved with Bitcoin. Because many of you do not understand the value that is coming. Many of you don't understand that. And after I finish with this show, you will understand why I keep telling you, invest in cryptocurrencies. Invest in Bitcoin. So, let me tell you now the tips. We had all the news right now from Iraq. Like, for example, they also reported that they delivered some towns, and basically that was it. Like I said, I only take the most important things that I see in the news, and I'm letting you know, because this is basically almost the same thing I've been telling you when I disclose my private intel and my breaking intel too. So if you put all the pieces together, you understand that everything I've been telling you is exactly as it is. I'm not making this up. You're seeing it by yourself. And like I told you a long time ago, we are so close, you have no idea. Very, very close. And I'm talking about the RB. Not to just deliver a Mosul, which I know this been delivered for about a year ago, but I'm talking about when the time that they raise their value. So, if you can please do me a favor and grab a pen and a paper and write down, at least if you don't want to write down, you can just review the recording of this show, because what I'm about to give you are tips that I tested myself, and they can be very valuable for you, and it can save you a lot of headaches once you exchange your currency. Because you're not only exchanging your currency, you also changing your life. Alright, so let me give you the number one tip to keep you to actually help you in your migration to your new life. The number one is keep your mouth shut. You hear me right. I believe you have heard me this many times. I'm going to repeat it again. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your wealth private. Don't tell your mom. Don't tell your dad. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell even your daughter or son, because you don't know how clever kids can be by manipulating you and control you. And many parents are being controlled by their own kids. And you know I'm not lying in this. So you need to understand the value of keeping your mouth shut. Let me tell you something that happened to me. Like I said, if you don't keep your mouth shut, you will get this. And this is just an example. When my life changed several years ago, I started having people that supposedly be my family coming into my home. I met cousins that I never even heard about for many years. Never even heard about them. And they all came to ask me for one thing and one thing only: money. People feel like they're entitled to your wealth just because you are family. Even though people that has nothing to do with your life, they can do anything to rip you off. Anything. I mean anything. If I tell you the countless times that I have found myself in a very compromised position to lose my wealth, you'll be shocked. So why did this thing happen? Because I did not know better, and I did not shut my mouth. So there you go. Shut your mouth. Okay? That's your first tip. Your second tip. Let me just basically check my audio because I want to make sure that everybody listening. All right. Your second tip is do your transaction from poor to wealth little by little. What I mean is that don't make it obvious that you're rich. If you're going to become a millionaire from one day to another, if you're one of the recipients of a downfall of wealth, one of the biggest downfall of wealth that humanity will have ever experienced, the worst thing you can do, my friends, is to buy a very expensive car, dress like a moron, and throw your money away and put your money in pictures in compromising positions on Facebook. I met a guy who did that exactly. He won $1.5 million on the lottery. He was a very nice young man. I had him on my list, on my private account in Facebook. The guy showed up with thousands of dollars, just like a Mayweather does, putting himself in positions on photographs and videos. I've told him, do not do that. I warned him many times. The guy thought that I was actually, that I wish that I could be, that I could be him, right? So I told him, no, I'm just telling you for your own good. He did that for a week, and after a week, I stopped seeing about him. I stopped seeing his postings and everything. And all of a sudden, I came out to the news that kid, that idiot, got killed because some homies in his friends list in Facebook find out where he lives and rob him and kill him. That is one example why I keep telling everybody, shut your mouth. Don't show it. Don't make it obvious. Make it little by little. If you have enough money to move, go ahead, move. Don't tell anybody where you're moving. And if you're gonna move to a luxury apartment first. Yes, do so. Don't make it obvious. And if they tell you why you're living now in a nice apartment, because I just got a good job. Just tell them that. I'm doing a little better. The worst people think that you are is the better thing that you can do. Let him think that you are miserable as they are. But don't try to be a smart ass and show them that you're wealthy. You're not gonna get a thumbs up. Trust me what I'm telling you. So this is your third tip. And this is for everybody. I mean everybody, even the oldest of my fans needs to hear this tip. Because later on, regardless of whatever you want to do, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And what I'm talking about is keep your computer system secure. Listen, let me tell you about me. I have a degree in information system security. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I have seen very rich people lose everything because they did not pay attention on what I told them. We are hearing over the news about hacking, and it's getting more aggressive every day. Every day are getting more aggressive because they're learning new technologies. And guess what? The NSA, our government of security in the cyber field, is the one who's selling their own technology to criminals. So they can do anything and basically monitor you without you even seeing anything. So how can you prevent that? How can you minimize, and the word is minimize, that you can be hacked? The first thing you can do is, when you exchange, of course, and you can, if you want to do it right now, go ahead and do it. You can buy a customized computer. You can order by Dell. They do it for you. A customized computer, and ask them to build your computer with the most sophisticated algorithm security settings. Do it in such a way that even if they take your laptop or your computer, it's literally impossible that they can get your data. Do it. You're going to have a lot of money. Why? Because you will be checking your balance in your bank. You will be doing a lot of transferring when you get filthy rich. And trust me, have you ever seen somebody transferring millions of dollars, and those millions of dollars never actually got to the second place? I've seen that. Why? Because they can do that. So you need to take care of your system, of your computer system. This is my recommendation I'm giving you. Get a customer computer with the latest high-tech algorithm security setup. Install a high-tech VPN connection software. So every time you go to the internet, your identity is protected and you are secure with the highest level of settings of security layers, so nobody can get into your computer and find out how filthy rich you are. Okay? That's my recommendation. Another thing that you also can do is this. We are having news that companies like Samsung, even iPhone and other companies will coming down in very, very soon with crypto phones. Crypto phones that are designed to actually have you hold your wallet in your phone, and if you even get your phone is being robbed or you lose your phone, whatever, nobody can get into that data. Because it will be so secure, it will be almost impossible to break it. Okay? So just pay attention to the latest technology and the gadgets they can offer you, because I know for a fact these companies will already start promoting these phones. Especially for those who actually do the same thing that I'm doing right now, because many of the investments I doing on the phone. Especially with this new company I'm with, the 6% daily, I'm doing it on the phone. Every 4 hours, I check my phone, just like when you check Facebook, I check emails or messages. Check this application, and you're making money without even doing anything. Beautiful, isn't it? So, those are my tips for you. They're not many. Okay, those are my tips. I want you to consider them because it may save you a lot of headaches. So let me go ahead and to the next step, because the information I'm going to give you, it is very important. I told you from the beginning that my show is also, I would like to talk about the real value of the money. And let me tell you about the real value, okay? And again, I found this posting on Facebook, and I took the time to watch the video. And the video is about two guys that actually work in the stock market. They are experts in the stock market. This is not the only two guys that actually talking about the collapse that I've been telling you for a long time. But it caught my attention because they actually talking about the things that I've been told that I know is going to happen. And that is the real value of money. The RB is about that. It is about the real money of money, the real value of money. The reason why Vietnam, Indonesia, Iraq, and all those countries that are pure, either oil production countries, or massive countries that provide manufacturing, like China. The real reason why they're not providing the real value of their currency is because of one thing only. It's because that's their way of killing our economy. Donald Trump has talked about it before, and that is 100% the truth. They're hiding their real value of their currency, and it's hurting our economy. And right now, that's what is happening. So the GCR or the RB is basically that. Is when finally countries around the world will show up the real value of their currency. So if you know that the time when you're going to exchange, you're going to exchange your money, your currency. You're going to get a foreign currency and get dollars back. You need to understand another fact. And that fact is that the dollar will devalue. Yes. If the rest of the countries show up the real value of their currency, what do you think is going to happen with our dollar? It's going to show up the real value too. The value that the dollar it is reflected at this moment, it is manipulated. It is a fiat currency. It's being influenced by the corrupt system that we have. So if you know already that we are going to have a reset of the value of many currencies, and we're going to see the reset for our financial system, you need to be aware that your dollar is not going to be worth that much after you exchange. Now let me tell you what is this video that I'm going to play, the audio, is about. They're talking about three major things, and I want you to pay attention to it. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to play just a portion so you understand my point. They're talking about bringing the real value in the currencies. Pay attention to that. Pay attention also to the markets, what they're talking about bonds market. Bonds market. And why is it that when you understand how low and how catastrophic the bond market is, you understand that there is no way that Zimbabwe will revalue. Okay? So, I want you to educate yourself, because by the end of this audio, I'm going to tell you and prove you that the reason why I keep telling you to get involved with cryptocurrency makes more sense than waiting for the RB. I repeat, if you have bought a currency that is worthless like the dinar, the dong, and even the Zimbabwe, it's because you expect that you will get a return of investment for more than 1,000 times. Now let me talk about the Bitcoin. When the Bitcoin came out, they were giving it away. And then eventually, after they're giving it away, they start betting on the Bitcoin. Now, the Bitcoin, it is the most expensive currency in the planet. So if you're waiting for the RB and you've been waiting for this event for already a decade or more, why don't you just put a little money and start earning Bitcoins, and by the time you do your RB, you have more money than you expected? It makes more sense that you invested your dollar in something that is more expensive than the dollar, because you will get a return of investment so huge that you'll be so glad you did. Banks are getting on the game. Millionaires are getting on the game. Every single big corporation are getting involved in Bitcoin. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Now people might say, hey, he's selling his business. I keep telling you, I don't need your business. I know, I don't. It'd be nice if you come out, but I don't need you. If you can just get involved with anybody else, get involved now. Now. Who knows? Look, who knows if the whole thing collapses and there is no RB, what you gonna do? Tell me, what are you gonna do? I have told my people in Facebook, get money sufficient for food, for water, collect food. I told them. And now every piece that I've been telling you is coming together. Now these people, that the audio they're going to play right now, are telling you the imminent that's going to happen. Get involved with cryptocurrencies. There is one cryptocurrency that I was aware of today. And that cryptocurrency is about 15 cents each currency. And that currency, let me just tell you this, as an ex-banker, it's going to explode. So for those people who wants to know about this currency, write me down. I had nothing to gain by just giving you the information. Write me down to BennyIntelRB@gmail.com. You know my email now. I've been flooded with a lot of emails, so you know my email. Ask me which currency I'm talking about, and I will tell you which one it is. Now, please listen to this audio. I'm just going to play just part of the audio for you to understand what's going on.
Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdsson of World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here, Wham John Sneisen, and the crooks at Wells Fargo are at it again. I mean, this is part of a global agenda, of course, but it's something that we've been warning about so much, and we need to start paying more attention because we are being proven right, vindicated over and over again, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. And this part of the story comes as Wells Fargo eyes return to mortgage deals shunned since crisis. And of course, we're talking about the 2008 financial crisis, and it's something that we've been warning about because we're seeing a lot of similarities. But go into this, John, because we're continuing to see these similarities that put a lot of people at risk.
Well, if you remember 2008, there's been made a lot of videos about it. It's, for example, Inside Job and others that have come out, and of course The Big Short. They made videos and quite explicitly explained, what went down, what kind of fraudulent activities went down. And of course, it was the mortgage-backed securities that was put together, packaged together, a whole bunch of loans, and it was a whole bunch of horse manure in there. And then, of course, it ended up and started stinking, and then people just found out it was just a load of crap, and it was worthless.
Yeah, it's the collateralized debt obligations out of control once again.
Yeah. Now, since that time, what the Inside Mortgage Finance publication have said, it's only been 16 billion of these mortgage-backed securities sold now. We don't know if that's true at all. They might be very different, but what we're trying to say here is, of course, they're trying to package these loans again and trying to get it off their books because a lot of the loans might be crap again, and they want to get rid of them off their books, off their risk, in order to sell it to a stupid investor like a pension fund or even you and me, so we could buy it and sit with the bomb when it goes off. This is insane. And of course, here in Canada, we had one of the first Bank of Montreal started creating their mortgage-backed securities. And of course, it comes at the same time we're in a massive housing bubble. So shouldn't that really warn you about something? And then, of course, as they had 95% of them being rated AAA.
Totally faulty.
Yeah.
They base that on a couple of the good mortgages that they package in with a ton of terrible mortgages.
Well, first of all, when it comes to rating, you cannot rate mortgages that are under a bank that people pay the same as a country's rating. So that means that it's the same. So that's basically fraudulent right there. First of all. And it's insane that they do believe that anybody would have the possibility to print money out of thin air. I guess they believe that the Central Bank of Canada is going to bail them out, or of course the Fed is going to bail them out now. Well, they're back to the same crap again, what they loaded onto the markets, and now they're at it again. When are we going to stop listening to these morons and start standing up for ourselves? Because these guys, they would continue to put out this horse manure into the markets until we drown in it.
Well, the whole damn system is based off of debt. And John, as we talk about often, the fundamentals are off the table, so we can't put a date on the crash, but we know it's going to happen, and that's inevitable. All fiat currency eventually reverts to its intrinsic value of zero, and when you manipulate the markets into a giant bubble, it's eventually going to burst, it's eventually going to come down, and we see things that are reminiscent of 2008 again and again and again. And John, this is going to be much worse than 2008, won't it?
Well, 2008 is going to look like a walk in the park, unfortunately. Sometimes I just laugh about it because it is really scary when you think about it. Because this time we printed a quadruple amount of money that we had last time. And of course, the bubble is so much more massive. There's a bubble in the stock market. There's a bubble in all kinds of loans, student loans, car loans, regular private loans, business loans, and everything started to collapse under us. Meanwhile, central bankers like Janet Yellen and Polotz and others, Olsen in Norway, they sit there and say, like, oh, everything is fine. Don't worry about it. We got everything under control.
Yeah, things are going better than ever.
Well, that's what they said right before the 2008 crash. We got to listen. They would never tell us the truth, these bastards, because if they did, there would be a complete panic. And they just want to stay away from it. So the panic will happen at a point when they could say, like, oh, we had nothing to do with it. And of course, they had all to do with it.
There's a recent story in the news about a journalist, I forget which country it was in, but they were asking Polotz about, he said to him, you look real calm for someone who's printing trillions of dollars out of thin air. And isn't that so true? I mean, it all comes down to that debt pyramid, and it has to come down eventually, and that's the problem. And John, I think a lot of people are wondering, as always, solutions. We talk about the problem, we have a reaction, but instead of being Hegelian and giving a solution that just creates more problems, let's give them a solution that ends this insane central planning and manipulation, these artificial markets and artificial monetary systems throughout the world, working together in collaboration with these globalist monetary system cartels, and give people a solution that will actually be able to help them insure themselves and insure their family in the inevitable crash.
Okay. They're talking about a bubble. And let me just tell you who was one of the most principled people who talk about the bubble. The famous bubble. Donald Trump. Don't you remember what Donald Trump said about the bubble? Let me play that record for you.
We need to do more to make the contributions we should be making to rebuild the middle class. I don't think top-down works in America. I think building the middle class, investing in the middle class, making college debt-free so more young people can get their education, helping people refinance their debt from college at a lower rate. Those are the kinds of things that will really boost the economy. Broad-based, inclusive growth is what we need in America, not more advantages for people at the very top.
Mr. Trump,
typical politician, all talk, no action, sounds good, doesn't work, never going to happen. Our country is suffering because people like Secretary Clinton have made such bad decisions in terms of our jobs and in terms of what's going on. Now, look, we have the worst revival of an economy since the Great Depression. And believe me, we're in a bubble right now. And the only thing that looks good is the stock market. But if you raise interest rates even a little bit, that's going to come crashing down. We are in a big, fat, ugly bubble. And we better be awfully careful. And we have a Fed that's doing political things. This Janet Yellen of the Fed is doing political by keeping the interest rates at this level. And believe me, the day Obama goes off and he leaves and he goes out to the golf course for the rest of his life to play golf, when they raise interest rates, you're going to see some very bad things happen because the...
Okay. You hear it from our president. Guess when the Fed will increase the interest rate? June. They're gonna come out and they're gonna increase the interest rate in June. So how long would it take until this bubble that every single experts and billionaires have talked about it? Less than a month. And if I'm not mistaken, that bubble will explode in July. And why am I saying this? Because it was prophesied. Remember the prophecy? When King Clement said, when things got at the worst, I will open all the sources and let the dinar revalue. Do you see now what I'm talking about? Do you see what I'm talking about, that I've been putting all the pieces together? And it makes more sense that you do what I'm telling you to do. Be prepared. Because if you think you're going to exchange before the whole thing collapses, I think, and I'm almost sure, that you're completely wrong. Things are not going to be pretty. I told you, when the RB happens, it's going to be very ugly. There will be chaos. There will be panic. There will be panic, chaos, confusion, you name it. If you thought that myself, getting attacked for people who are showing their frustration because the Zimbabwe is not coming through, just wait when everybody lose their deposits, their money, everything overnight. I'm not making this up, and I'm not trying to create chaos. I'm trying to prepare you. I will give you more information because I'm not allowed to give you the more information than what I'm giving you right now. But I can assure you that things are going very, very fast. So just for tonight, I'm going to leave you with this thought. Go ahead and Google or research on YouTube by typing prepares for massive crash. This video that I just posted, the audio with these two gentlemen. I'm also going to post it myself on my Facebook. I will also let you know that I will answer every single email. Just give me a little more time. And I also will tell you that I'm getting material in English for those who wants to know actually what the cure of the dementia and memory loss and Alzheimer, all that. It's all together, okay? And Believe it or not, the cure is very simple. Very, very simple. I can tell you that because I seen it in my own mother. So that's it for tonight. I will leave you for that thought. Get involved with cryptocurrencies. Get involved with Bitcoins. It's for your own good. For now, thank you so much for your attention. And I'll see you again in another edition of that Fake News Show. Goodbye now.
Thank you for listening to the Fake News Show with Benny. See you next time for more conspiracy news, current events, and intel from the most controversial show from Montserrat Radio.